Good morning and welcome to your restorative practice. My name is Yvonne and I'm one of the More Yoga teachers teaching restorative and hatha yoga. So welcome, and it would be great to know where you are and where you are in London or the UK. So just say hi, drop me a little hi into the box. I'm just going to put myself on mute. That's going to be annoying. It's live, not Memorex. So, morning and hi, I'm Yvonne, and it'd be great to know where you're practicing from today. So you can drop me a little hi into the chat box. So your name if you'd like, and well, it will come up anyway, and where you are in London or UK, because you may be somewhere else in the UK. And also, more importantly, if you have any injuries or conditions I need to be aware of, please do drop it in the box. Oh, who have we got there? Frederico, Finsbury Park, we're neighbours. I'm in Walthamstow, so that's great. And Sasha from Brixton. I need new glasses. Brilliant, thank you so much for participating. Welcome to class. So, a little bit about restorative. If you've done it before, treat it as a refresher. If you're new to restorative, this is some enlightening information. Hello Anna from Balham, welcome. So all you need today is 2 blankets, and I'll show you the specific folding in a minute. Normally there's other props which you'll see in the description for the class, but today I specifically wanted to do a prop-like class, so hopefully you can start doing some of these poses on your own, as ideally Judith Lasseter, the American teacher that made restorative quite popular over the last 20-30 years, she recommends if we do 1 pose a day, 10 to 20 minutes, it's really good for our nervous system. So bear that in mind. Hi there, Nairi from Uxbridge, welcome. Thanks so much for participating, this is great. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Anyway, so lighting. So lighting, temperature and noise affect the nervous system. You need to see me, so my blinds are up, but ideally you need to drop your blinds so you haven't got as much light coming through, because it will help your nervous system move into relaxation quicker. If it's too bright, you're then quite stimulated still, so it will take longer to move into relaxation. So ideally please dim the brightness in your room. Temperature, fingers crossed we should be okay, because it's ambient temperature is actually quite warm these last few days, so I hope you're not in a cold room, because as you lay in each pose, because we'll be in each pose for about up to 7 to 8 minutes, your body will notice the cold or the temperature more. So definitely don't be sitting laying in any open drafts. And then noise. There's not a lot of chat in the restorative classes because it's about your relaxation. So as we go through, you'll hear less and less from me, because your body starts to move into relaxation, and me keep talking interrupts that. In the description of the class, you'll see this suggested playlist, and it's literally 1 track. It lasts for an hour and 10 minutes, and it's really grounding and relaxing. So if you can click on that and have it playing in the background, that really does aid to your practice. It's called a tambura, and it's for deep relaxation as well as meditation, so I invite you to try it. So enough chat, let's get going. So I say all you need today is 2 blankets or 2 towels. Please ideally make sure they're the same size, because we need to have some symmetry. Now with the restorative work, it's really important that we're kind to ourselves, so well done for making time to come to the practice. But also, especially with the blankets, they need to be smooth. No peas in the blankets, not just throwing them together, because as you lay on them, it affects your comfort if they are not smooth. Okay, so with the blankets, it's always an idea to start folding short edge to short edge. That's always the trick with the restorative work. So we're going to concertina fold our blankets, so you need to fold both blankets into a quarter of a quarter. I'm not good with sizes. Anyway, keep going short edge to short edge, and I'll show you the shape that we're going to end up in. So you keep folding short edge to short edge, and when you get to about this size, you then do a concertina fold, which is literally half, but then you come back on yourself, so you make a little curve, a little pleat. That's it, pleat is the word I'm looking for. First one is going to go horizontal, halfway down the mat, and then you're going to do exactly the same with the second blanket. So short edge to short edge to short edge, till you get to about here. You make sure it's smooth, and then same again, you fold over yourself and have the smooth edge towards the other blanket. So you're making an upside down T. The hem edge, the folded edge, should be away from you at the top of the blanket. So you've made an upside down T, and we're going to start in a downward facing Shavasana. So the idea is that the vertical blanket is going to support your torso, and the horizontal blanket is going to support your hips. You're lining up your hip crease with the edge of the first blanket. So come to palms either side the vertical blanket, line up your hip crease with the horizontal blanket, and lengthen back through your legs. Have your feet about hip width apart, and then lift your right leg and turn the toes towards your left leg, and then lay the foot down. Same, lift your left leg, turn the toes towards the right foot and lay it down. That just creates space in the lower back, lengthens, and starts to get your thighs to rotate inwardly. Palms are as wide as the mat, and then you draw your elbows level with your shoulders. Please take your glasses off, and then come to laying. I would recommend the right ear, but it doesn't actually matter. You lay on whichever ear feels comfortable, and ensure that the shoulders are rolled down the back, palms are grounded, forearms are grounded. Spread the palms, and after a few breaths, because I want you to just surrender now, give your body over to the blankets. You will find that your whole sacrum area starts to release. It's a really nice feeling, and you're fully supported by the blankets, torso and hips. Thighs are resting, knees into the mat, feet into the mat, and the toes are just gently facing each other. Close your eyes, lengthen your chin gently down towards your chest, so you can feel a little stretch at the back of your neck. And just start to arrive into your practice. Try to not be engaged with anything you hear going on outside of your practice room. Hopefully you've put a sign on the door or told whoever's in the household with you that you're practicing, so you won't be disturbed. And just start to arrive. The breath pattern I recommend you follow is nice full conscious breath, inhaling towards the heart and exhaling towards the crown. That just allows for a nice full breath pattern. And as you lay, I invite you to notice the pace and the texture of your breath. And as you observe it and as you work through that breath pattern, you'll notice it starts to slow down. And to help you arrive into your first pose, and there's only going to be 4, because that's the other beauty of the work with the restorative practice. We do fewer poses so you can relax longer in them. Because if I put in too many poses, you're moving about too much and it defeats the object of relaxation. So we do less poses so you have more time in each to really start to feel the benefits of the practice. I'm going to share a poem with you in 2 parts because it's a longer one. So I'll share part now and then part at the end. David White is one of my favourite poets, and this one is called What to Remember When Waking. So keep connected to your breath as I share this poem with you. In that first hardly noticed moment in which you awake, coming back to this life from the other more secret, movable, and frighteningly honest world where we begin everything, there is a small opening into the new day, which closes the moment you begin your plans. What you can plan is too small for you to live. What you can live wholeheartedly will make plans enough of the vitality hidden in your sleep. To be human is to become visible while carrying what is hidden as a gift to others. To remember the other world in this world is to live your true inheritance. You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You are invited from another and greater night from the one which you have just emerged. Keep inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Wherever you hear a noise, something going on outside of the room, you come back to the breath, or if you're listening to the soundtrack, connect to the tambura. My window is open because it's quite warm in here today. So again, if you hear any external sounds, just connect to your tambura or your breath. Keeping your chin towards your chest, very gently change the direction of your head. And just settle back into the practice, starting to feel the sacrum releasing, feeling the breath moving into the back of the body as you move further into your downward facing Shavasana. Last few breaths in this first pose. Very gently start to deepen your breathing, and that's the cue you'll hear whenever we're about to change sides or come out of a pose. So deepen your breathing and gently start to walk your palms towards your shoulders to start to push yourself to upright. If you draw your big toes together, you can draw your bottom back to your heels, so you actually come into a child's pose on the way to upright. And then just pause for a moment in upright before we move on. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the box, but trying to just start to stay in the quiet and stillness of the practice. So moving on, second posture, we're going to move into a twist. Now I'm going to do it long ways on my mat so you can see it better, but you can just stay the short side of your mat. So keeping the blankets just as they are, concertina, you're going to make an L, and you're starting on the right hand side. So you're going to have sorry, I worked this out earlier to do it sideways on. It's the other way, sorry. That's it, right. Live TV. So you're making an L and your hips are going to be supported by one bolster. I usually do it with bolsters, but blankets is fine. Your hips are on the horizontal bolster, and then your shins, knee, shins, foot, ankle is on the vertical one. And this allows us to move into a twist. Now I'm going to take my glasses off again. So come to laying. I'm going to move back a bit just to make sure you can see me on camera. So hips are on the horizontal, shins, knees on the vertical, and they keep them right close to one another. Come to laying on your side, use your elbow to lay down. Keep everything stacked, ankles, shins, knees. Come to laying on your side and extend both arms out long. And keeping stacked, draw your head back a bit slightly so your head is on top of the spine. And then from here, you're going to run your left hand up your right arm across your chest and turn your chest to face the ceiling, but keeping the knees stacked. So your arms are now in at shoulder height, keeping the knees stacked. If you feel that your chest, because my left shoulder's not down properly, you use your elbows, so you press your elbows into the ground, place your arms facing the ceiling and root into the elbows to turn the chest, and that allows your shoulders to land. Now my left shoulder is a bit tight, so for me I might just have my left hand on my ribs and I need to keep the feet stacked. So there you are in your upward facing twist, Jatara Paddavatasana. You could also have your arms in cactus, but again, see mine's tight, it doesn't go down, but you could have it in a cactus shape, an L, or shoulder height, whatever works for you. But if anything feels restricted like me, keep the elbow grounded and just place the palm on the ribs on the side that feels tight, and keep the knees stacked. You keep rolling the hip forward so the hips are stacked, gaze towards the ceiling. You're fully supported by the blankets, and there you are in your upward facing twist. Then after a few minutes we will of course change sides. And just notice as you're in the sideline twist, which side feels more open. Where do you notice the breath? Breathe into it, keeping that breath pattern, inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Any discomfort, any tightness, send breath to the body. Send breath to the place that feels restricted. and that usually softens it. And as you just surrender into the blankets and the ground, you start to feel a lovely twist across the side of the body. Do keep the ankles, shins and knees stacked, because the top knee sometimes rolls back. Just roll the hip forward so the knees stay stacked on top of one another. And just surrender into the pose. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Where are you in the practice? Have you wandered off into post-restorative? Try to come back to your breath, come back to the tambura. Last few breaths on this side of your upward facing twist. Urdhva Mukha Jatara Paravatasana is the Sanskrit name. Slowly start to deepen your breathing and bring your left arm back to meet your right. So your arms are extended and stacked just as we started before we opened the chest and twist. And just pause for a couple of breaths, stacked. Just reflect how it felt on that side. And then bending your left arm, push yourself to upright and pause as we get ready to do the other side. So you just need to reverse your L, so move one of your blankets over to the other side, so you've still got an upside down L. So you've got horizontal one for the hips, and then you've got the vertical one for your shins. So I've changed over to show you the other side. And so you're now moving on your left, so you should be sitting on your left hip just towards the middle of the blankets, stacking your ankles, stacking the shins. It may feel different on this side. Use your elbow to lay down on your side once again. Ensure you don't fall off the blankets like me. Stack the knees, shins, ankles. Extend your arms out in front of you. Draw your head back slightly. And then inhaling, Draw the right arm up the left, turn the chest to the ceiling, extend the right arm out away from you, keeping those knees stacked. So you roll that hip back over. I find if you extend through the heel, it helps the knees stay stacked. Again, use your elbows to turn that chest to the ceiling so both shoulders are grounded, and you may find that one side feels better than the other. This side feels better for me. And again, decide where you'd like your arms. You can keep them shoulder height. You can maybe do cactus. Again, I'm always tight on one side. Again, if it feels restricted, you keep your elbow down. Just lay your palm into your ribs. You could even hold on to your knee with the left hand. Your gaze is centered to the ceiling. You keep your chin level down towards your chest. And if you look down, you should be able to see that sense that your chin and your chest and your hip are all in line. And that way you know you are in the full expression of the twist. But you have to go wherever feels comfortable for you. So this is the second side of your upward facing twist. Keep connected to the breath. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Well done for making time for yourselves to rest. I think it's very important at this time as we navigate our new normal in this crisis. Connecting to the breath and noticing which side of the twist feels more open, more spacious. No judgment, it's just an observation. Keep connected to whatever sound you prefer. Your breath or the tambura if you've got it on. Last few breaths on this side. Slowly start to deepen your breathing, and inhaling, bring that right arm back over to meet the left, And pause for a moment, and then use your right arm as a lever to push yourself to upright. Hope you're doing well, starting to feel a bit more relaxed. Takes about 15 minutes for the nervous system to move from what's called fight or flight, how we walk around protecting ourselves all the time, into the relaxation mode, which takes literally 15 minutes. Hence why we hold the poses for longer and don't do as many of them. So coming up to our penultimate pose, and we're going to fold both blankets into square. So from here, from about this shape, short edge to short edge again, and short edge to short edge again, so you've got that, roughly that sort of shape, no bigger. The smooth edge goes towards the top of your blanket, so your top of your mat. Your head is going to be up there. We're going to be going into a 2 blanket back bend. Fold the second blanket in exactly the same way, so short edge to short edge and smooth edge on top. And in fact, I'm going to be really pernickety and make sure that you've got the smooth edges on top of one another, hem edges on top, so it's absolutely parallel, mirrored, whatever words you would like to use, matching. Okay, so stack them right on top of one another. Now, depending on the thickness of your blankets or your towels, if you get into the pose and you feel it's too much, you feel it's just too big a lift, take one out and then just go back into it. So you have to feel comfortable in the pose. It's your pose. It's all about, you know, an individual practice. Make sure you've got enough room for you to lay back and come to sitting just in front of the blanket. You're not going to be, your bottom is not going to stay on the floor, but it's the easiest way to start into it. So this is a really simple back bend, but it is quite delicious. I hope you agree with me. So from here, place your hands by your hips, roll your shoulders down the back and press into your feet, which should be about hip width apart, and push yourself up and over the blanket. So push yourself over, so you come to laying, and then you've got to make sure that the pointy part of your shoulder blade is on the blanket and only the top part of the shoulder blade is on the mat. So you'll probably have to wriggle yourself, like me, inchworm yourself down the blanket. So you should actually feel that you're now hanging slightly. So your tailbone is now off the mat, correct, and your shoulder blades, the pointy part, is on the blanket, and the top of your shoulder is on the mat. So you should feel that it's just this middle section of your body that's being supported. That's correct. So from here, keeping the toes facing, keeping the toes facing forward, step your feet as wide as the mat. So you are lining up your feet, the sides of your feet with the sides of your mat. Toes still facing forward, and then let your knees fall into one another. So there you are, you're supported, and your tailbone is now supported into your knees. You've got a little bit of lift there from the blanket. Lengthen your chin down towards your chest, and you should already feel a nice lift. So we are in a back bend because the blankets are lifting the chest and opening, so we're getting a really nice open to the chest. It's going to be great for the breath. Nice stretch to the rib cage and lower back. And then you decide what you'd like to do with your arms. So again, you might want to cactus them, or you might want to have them shoulder height. I might not come out far enough, but you can shoulder height. Or you might want to do not a complete O, but you might want to work towards the letter O above your head. So you don't join your hands because that crunches into your shoulders, but you could have the arms going towards making an O.
Make sure both elbows are supported into the ground. But you decide. You might find that the cactus is great, or you might want to place the hands on the lowest rib. Whatever feels right for you. And remember, if 2 blankets feels too much, come out and make it just 1. And once you've decided where your arms feel right, as I say, lengthen your chin to your chest, and you just surrender into your supported bridge pose, Setu Bandha Savasana. So you're in a lovely bridge, you're the bridge over your blankets, and this is very energizing as well as relaxing. It does really calm the mind. All the restorative poses do, because you're allowing stillness. You're allowing that nervous system to shift into the relaxation mode. Check in with your breath, it should be feeling quite calm. Slowing down, feeling quite relaxed. And I'll leave you here for a little longer, just to reap the benefits of the opening to the chest. So if you noticed, as you inhale towards the heart and you exhale towards the crown, you really notice the breath pattern. Because of the angle with the chest lifted with the blankets, you really notice the breath moving through the whole upper and back body. So just settle into this supported back bend. Closing the eyes. Connecting to your sound, your breath or the tambura, keeping inside of your practice. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. last few breaths in your supported bridge pose coming up. Slowly start to deepen your breathing. Inhaling, separate your knees and step your heels in front of each buttock bone so your feet are about hip width apart, toes facing forward. And from here, bring your palms to your chest if they're not already there. And then root your feet into the mat. Inhale, lift your hips and gently remove the blankets, and then very slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, lay your back, body down into the mat, and take a moment just to lay in effortless rest, which is this pose here now, feet down, knees up, and just notice the contrast of your back, how it feels without the lift, without the blankets. Just notice the breath, notice what you notice after coming down to neutral. And just lay neutral for a couple of breaths before we transition to your final pose, Shavasana. Resting your palms on your ribs, just notice the rise and fall of your diaphragm as you notice your inhale and exhale. And if you just step your feet back to the edges of the mat, we just do a couple rounds of windscreen wiper, so let the knees fall over to the right. Slowly inhaling, coming up. Let them fall over to the left, keeping the eyes closed. Really small movement, really slow. One more each side. Just a nice little counter from the back bend. And then come to neutral. And then gently bring the knees over to the right, or whichever side's easiest for you. Roll to the side. Push yourself to upright. And then let's arrange our blankets for Shavasana. So, first one, open it out. Open it out once, it's a wider fold. Still have the smooth edge in towards you. And have that at the top of the mat, ready for your head. And then the second blanket, we'll open that out as well. But then we're going to make a concertina fold like we did for the other two poses. So just fold it back on itself so you've got that little concertina shorter blanket. And angle that so it's going to be behind your knees. So extend the legs long so you realise it's behind the knees. And then bend the knees up. Hands by your hips. Always bend the knees to lay back. It's better for your spine. And then lay back. Extend the legs long. Blanket should be behind the knees as you've measured. If not, you just gently push it down. Now with the blanket, you're going to snuggle. You're going to make a schnud for your head. So you grab the first layer of blanket and you snuggle. You start to fill the gap in the nape of your neck. So you start to fill the blanket in behind the nape of your head. Keep grabbing as much blanket that you need to fill it. Then once the nape of your neck is filled, you then start shaping the blanket around your whole skull. So you keep pulling in blanket to shape around your whole skull, tucking it in. And once you've done the first layer of blanket, you go for the next layer of blanket. And as you're pulling in more and more of the blanket, you should start to feel quite a nice snug feeling. Now obviously, if it doesn't work for you, you can just lay with a normal blanket. And then from here, as we did before at the start, you lift your right leg, turn your toes to the left. It gives an inward rotation of the thigh, allow space in the back, and just let your foot hang. Same with the left, turn your toes to the right, and then place the foot down. And just surrender the whole body into the mat. Have your palms slightly, your arms away from you, palms facing up. Lengthen your chin down towards your chest so you can feel the slight stretch at the back of the neck. And I invite you to scan your body for any tension. Just lay and notice where there's any tension left in the body. I'm hoping not a lot from your hour's relaxation, but just scan. See what you notice and send breath there. You're visualizing, but that visualizing of sending breath there does help. And then lastly, 3 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth to let go of any last pieces of tension, anything that doesn't serve you. So inhaling through the nose. 2 more times. Last one. Surrender into your Shavasana. Give your body over to the earth, to your relaxation pose. Just move into natural breathing now. Just natural everyday breath, and you just surrender.
Slowly start to deepen your breathing. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, starting to bring life back into your body. Gently circle the wrists and circle the ankles. You can inhale, raise the arms overhead for full body stretch as you circle the wrists and circle the ankles. Keep the movements really small and mindful, not to undo your good work. And then gently draw your knees to your chest and give yourself a really lovely hug and rock really slowly, as if you're in a big vat of molasses or treacle, and rock really slowly from side to side. Again, no fast movements, keeping as slow and as mindful as possible. Keeping the eyes closed as you just another couple of rocks slowly from side to side. And then very carefully you're going to roll to your right hand side, and you're going to stay on your right hand side or left hand side, whichever is easiest for you. You're going to stay on your chosen side for a couple of breaths. You're going to extend your bottom arm long and rest your ear on your arm. So your arm becomes a bit of a pillow. And you're going to have a couple of breaths there. And then gently flutter your eyes open and notice whatever the first thing you see, and just fix your gaze on it for a couple of breaths. And then using your top arm as a lever, push yourself to upright and come to sitting in easy pose Sukhasana, like me, just crossing the shins, ideally the ankles under the knees. Sit up on your two blankets and spine is tall. Palms are on the thighs, facing up or down, whichever suits you. Roll those shoulders back to keep the length, and just close your eyes as we spend the last few minutes of our practice together. You can reflect on how you're feeling after your relaxation, while I share the second part of David Whyte's poem with you, What to Remember When Waking. You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You are invited from another greater night, that from which you have just emerged. Now looking through the slanting light of the morning window toward the mountain presence of everything that can be, what urgency calls you to your one love? What shape waits in the seed you grow, you spread to? Is it waiting in the fertile sea, in the trees beyond the house, in the life you can imagine for yourself, in the open and lovely white page on the waiting desk? From the House of Belonging. So keep the eyes closed and just connect to your breath for the last few moments of practice. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown, and just comparing this breath to the breath that you've started the practice with, and hopefully notice that it's calmer and that it's fuller. And then from here, gently inhaling, bringing your palms to your heart center. Exhaling, bowing your head to your hands in gratitude for making time for your yoga practice today. That beautiful opportunity for connection to self. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Release the palms open the eyes, raise the gaze. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you have any questions or comments, I'm going to be here for a few more minutes, so happy to answer any questions. Feedback is really important, so I'd appreciate thumbs up or thumbs down or anything that you think could be different. So please just drop it in the box for any questions and I will answer live. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, my handle is Yvonne Henrietta Yoga. So that's Yvonne Henrietta Yoga. In fact, I'll type it into the screen. And yeah, I hope you drop me a little message. Otherwise, enjoy. Oh, thank you, Sosha. Appreciate it. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your lovely sunny Saturday. If you're joining tomorrow, I'm on tomorrow as well, 5:30. You'll need a chair tomorrow. You'll need a chair and props. So we're gonna go prop light today. We're gonna go not prop heavy, but standard props tomorrow. Ah, thank you, Anna. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Very kind. So I'm just gonna drop my handle in. That's Yvonne Henrietta Yoga on Instagram. Move my noisy bracelet out the way. Thank you, Federico. That's very kind. So I'll stay on for a couple of minutes if there's any questions. Otherwise, I will wish you happy Saturday. And Nuri, I hope I'm saying your name right, Nairi. If the timetable stays the same, I'll be doing Restorative 6:30, 6 o'clock on a Sunday in Uxbridge, and Thursdays at 7:45. Yeah, but that's if the timetable stays the same, so I have to wait and see. But yeah, I'll be in Uxbridge doing Restorative. Oh, thank you, William. That's very kind. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. See, feedback is yeah, it means a lot. So thank you for taking the time to share. And if you're on Instagram, it would be great to have you follow and comment on the classes. It's really helpful. So it's Yvonne Henrietta Yoga. And tomorrow 5:30, if you're free, do join. Or you can find it in the library, because all of these, as you know, get recorded, so they're automatically in the library. So if you can't join, it will be there. But yeah, you'll need a chair tomorrow. Okay, I think I'm going to say farewell. So thanks for practicing, and I'll see you again soon.